Welcome to Sports Talk.
Hello everyone, welcome. It's Nick from Top Notch Sports. Today we're over the 2023 Miami Dolphins salary review and offseason moves for 2023. Miami, Mike McDaniels, super close this year, 9-8, was a wild card team, made the playoffs with Skylar Thompson, and was literally seconds, minutes, moments away from beating the Buffalo Bills in the playoffs. What an upset would that have been? Nobody thought the Miami Dolphins were going to compete like that. Now, again, going into the season, my hopes for the Miami Dolphins were pretty high. Tyreek Hill, Mike Gesicki, Jalen Waddle, Tua is finally back, right? He was supposed to be a starter now under Mike McDaniel. Mike McDaniel with his offensive geniusness and, learning from Kyle Shanahan, who I think is probably the most, the best offensive mind in football. And then you got a pretty solid defense, too. I had high hopes going in the season for this team. And to go 9-8, finish second in the AFC East, and almost beat the Buffalo Bills in the wild card round with Skylar Thompson gives me a lot of hope. The AFC East is going to continue to get tougher with young quarterbacks like Mac Jones, and who knows if Zach Wilson will ever get back. If they don't rock and roll with Zach Wilson, if they bring in a veteran, this division is only going to get tougher. With that being stated, let's hop right into this. If you're new to the series, welcome. If you're not new, welcome back. And we're going to go right over this. This is a little bit of a mock offseason for the Miami Dolphins. We're going to do a mock offseason, mock free agency, mock draft, and so much more. So stay tuned, and I'll do my prediction at the end. Here we are. First things first, the Miami Dolphins don't have a lot of money. They got negative $6.7 million in cap space. Now, the slide that you're seeing currently is the guys that are currently under contract. If someone's not listed here, it's because they're not under contract and they're current free agent and they need a contract extension. The guys in green are guys that if you cut them, you save money. Guys in red, if you cut them, you lose money. So, for quick example, if you were to go out and cut Cedric Wilson, you would save $1 million. If you were to go out and cut Tyreek Hill, which you would never do, but if you were to do it, you would lose $15 million. So, look at this slide. Let me know what you think. The only guy that, the big number guys that I'm seeing are Connor Williams, Durham Smythe, Noah Imjababini, the guy that got drafted, I think it was like 2 years ago as a cornerback in the first round. I don't believe, according to PFF, he didn't have a great season. You guys would know better than I would. I've seen a play, though. I don't think he did that bad, but you guys know better than I would. PFF was very harsh on their grade on him. Jerome Baker, Brandon Jones, right? Those are all the guys with $3 million plus in cap hit. Now, whether or not they play good enough, that's a decision the coaches need to make. That's a decision I'm going to make. That's a decision I want you to make. So let me know in the comment section below who you got them cutting, if anybody. All right, this slide is our notable losses. So first things first, I want to go over a percent of snaps played. The percent of snaps played, according to this slide, are the percent of snaps that they played when they were active for the game day roster. With that being stated, I want to make sure that you guys understand it. If the player was on the IR, it doesn't get counted against them. If they were benched, it does. But if they were on the IR, if they were hurt and they weren't active for the game day, then it wouldn't go against them. So if someone didn't play half the season because they were on the IR, that's a different story. All right, here we go. First things first, we're going to go Mike Gesicki, tight end. Expected contract is a 4-year, $32.8 million deal. He played 46% of the snaps. Next guy, Eric Rose, safety, 2-year, $6.1 million deal. Plays 60% of the snaps. Next guy, Jeff Wilson, running back, 1-year, $2.9 million deal. That's supposed to say 52% of the snaps. Linebacker, Elena Roberts, 1-year, $2.4 million is expected contract, 59% of the snaps. And last but not least, running back Raheem Mostert, 1-year, $2.2 million, 58% of the snaps. So with that being stated, now typically a good rule of thumb is guys that play a high percentage of the snaps and play well during those percent of snaps are guys that the organization will usually try to bring back. So let's go to the next slide where we're going to look at our potential targets. Here are our potential targets. So we're not going to have a great year in free agency, ladies and gentlemen. We're at negative $6.7 million. With that being stated, to even get into the positives, you would have to cut Connor Williams and you have to cut either a Robert Hunt, Durham Smythe. If you cut all three of these guys combined, that only saves you about, $10 million. Subtract that from the, negative 6.7, you're positive about $3.5 million. You're not bringing in nobody for $3.5 million. So you got to continue your rant, continue your teardown, continue cutting players. It's just not worth it. So I'm sure they're going to cut players. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying for the sake of this series, for the sake of this video, we're not going to cut 10 guys to bring in one guy. Okay? Estimated signings. Again, if you got negative money, you can't bring in nobody unless you franchise tag. So we can't do it. So we got to build through the draft. And I'm doing something that I think this team should have done about 10 times over, and we're finally able to do it. So here we go. In the second round, well, first things first, we're going to look at our team needs. You need a running back, wide receiver, tight end, offensive guard, offensive tackle, defense tackle, cornerback, and safety. So now again, in the second round, we're drafting running back Jahmyr Gibbs. Look, I haven't done my scouting process yet, which I'm going to do soon, but I do know Jahmyr Gibbs is a pretty dang good running back. And I've been telling this team, I've been thinking for years that, Najee Harris should have been the guy. I really had written Najee Harris all over this team. I had this team drafting so many running backs over the last few years. I believe DeAndre Swift was another guy I had this team taken a few years ago, and they elected not to do it. They got to take a running back. You put a good running back on this team like Jahmyr Gibbs. I wish they could get Bijan Robinson. I just don't think they're going to be able to get him in the second round. But again, you give them a good running back. This offense is extremely potent. Another thing I got them doing is drafting Luke Musgrave in the third round as a tight end position, and drafting offensive tackle Blake Freeland in the third round to secure that offensive tackle position, either for depth or to start. I know that right tackle position is not the greatest in Austin Jackson. I want to hear what you guys think. Will he end up starting next year over Blake Freeland or not? Another thing I want to mention here is a veteran quarterback. I could see you guys going out and trading for someone like Derek Carr, and I think this team honestly would do better with Derek Carr. Their future wouldn't be as bright necessarily because, Tua could be the quarterback for the next 10 years, but with his injury concerns and his performance, you can bring in Carr and he can be your starting quarterback for the next 8 years. And honestly, I feel like you guys can possibly make a strong playoff push. If not, I think you guys can win the championship with Derek Carr as your quarterback. I'm just going to throw that out there. I really do. Give him Jalen Waddle. Give him Tyreek Hill. Give him Jahmyr Gibbs. Give him Luke Musgrave. Give him a decent offensive line. Give him the best defense he's ever had in his career. This guy goes in and wins a championship. But again, for this model, we feel like that's a little bit less realistic than holding on to Tua and making these moves. Let me know what you think about bringing in a quarterback like Derek Carr. I want to hear what you think. But again, I do think Tua is a good quarterback. I think you guys can win games with Tua. So let's go to the next slide, our 2023 expected starters. Here are our 2023 expected starters. See, in the top left corner, you still got negative $6.7 million in cap space. Now we got two colors on the screen. You don't got no green. You don't got no orange. Green would be signing players. You're not signing nobody. Orange would be re-signing players. You're not re-signing nobody. Yellow is the worst color to see. Those are guys that we consider as placeholders, according to our own analysis or analysts. Analysis. I'm sorry. What the hell am I saying? Analysis, or according to PFF, if they're both in, both are saying, this guy needs a little bit of an upgrade, we place him as a placeholder. Raekwon Davis and Austin Jackson have not been playing that good. I know Austin Jackson's a little bit younger. I know Raekwon Davis is a little bit younger, but still, these guys got to perform, and the Dolphins are going to be looking to upgrade. Whether they draft a fourth-round defensive tackle or, again, they draft an offensive tackle and Blake Freeland in the third round, they're going to be looking to upgrade or at least add depth in those positions. God forbid one of those guys do not live up to expectation. With that being stated, we're bringing Jahmyr Gibbs, we're bringing in Blake Freeland, we're bringing in Luke Musgrave. This team, you really don't lose many people at all. You're losing Jeff Wilson and Raheem Mostert, or you're bringing in Jahmyr Gibbs, a nice young superstar running back possibly. You got a really good edge rushers in Bradley Chubb and Jalen Phillips. You got decent linebackers. You drafted Channing Tindall last year. You got Jerome Baker. Zach Seiler's been great. Christian Wilkins has been great. Brandon Jones, Javon Holland's been amazing. Xavier Howard and Noah. You got two good corners, and you got a pretty decent, like I said, good offense on paper between Tyreek Hill, Waddle, and Musgrave now, and you got Jahmyr Gibbs. Again, the offensive line, pretty decent. If you bring in Blake Freeland, I know the interior offensive line, you might be a little bit iffy on. I was actually really high on Liam Eichenberg coming out of college. I know he's been underperforming, but I still have high hopes in him. Teron Armstead's a monster, but it is a little weird because, again, Teron Armstead's not even protecting to his blind side. Instead, he's protecting the side that he can see from. So your real blind side guy right now is Austin Jackson. And that's why I think you should definitely try to find someone maybe like Blake Freeland to maybe replace him and see if he can do any better. With that being stated, the Miami Dolphins went 9-8 this past season. They finished second in the AFC East, went to the playoffs, and barely lost to the Buffalo Bills. If they make these moves and they keep on to Tua and they learn year 2 of Mike McDaniels' system, I feel like this team can only improve, not necessarily record-wise, but improve playing-wise. With that being stated, I think the Miami Dolphins go 10-7 next season. They finish anywhere from second or third in the division. I'm going to go second place in the division. And they make the wild card again. Again, the Miami Dolphins go 10-7, place second in the division, and make the wild card. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you think you rock and roll with Tua, or do you think you go out and get someone like Derek Carr? Let me know what you think. See you guys soon. Peace. We are Built Better.